Part 4. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 31. It just so happens that today's conversion opportunity hasn't been used yet. Just use Kakashi's. Ryosuke Yagami has actually stored several hairs in the biological information warehouse. Among them are Akimichi Chuji's, Ino's, and even Inyazuka Kiba's. They are all used by him to transform talent entries in the future. But now that he has a better choice, of course he chooses Kakashi. After all, Kakashi was also a genius when he was a boy. He graduated from the ninja school at the age of 5 and became a Chuunin at the age of 6. He was only 12 years old. When other children were just ninjas, he became a Jonin at the age of graduating from school. This resume alone is scary enough. It is even more exaggerated than Uchiha Itachi. However, after becoming famous at a young age, his subsequent achievements are a bit unsatisfactory. Elite the Jonin's strength is indeed good. But it's just good. That's not Kakashi's limit. He should be able to become the second Konoha White Fang. What a pity. The Sharingan dragged him down, and at the same time, his change in mentality also made him the whole person is lazy, far less diligent and motivated than when he was young. But even this can't cover up Kakashi's talent. This is a ninja with shadow level talents. It's a pity that he chose the wrong path. The system transforms Kakashi's hair. Ryosuke Yagami muttered silently in his mind. The next second, the silver white hair on his hand disappeared, and at the same time, several system prompts sounded in his mind. Ding! Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for getting the talent entry, 50/50ths, gold. 50/50ths? Hey, take is 50/50ths, which one is 50/50ths? Yagami Ryosuke felt that the system was complaining about Kakashi's settings. But this time the converted talent entry turned out to be golden again. It should be said that he is worthy of the genius boy Kakashi of Zenjin. Incredible. Yagami Ryosuke immediately opened the description of this talent entry to view the detailed information. 50/50, gold, a legendary special talent that allows you to force a 50/50th draw against any enemy whose strength is higher than yours. Combat recognition add 1000%. Combat instinct add 1000%. Comes with a mandatory 50/50ths halo. Forced 50/50ths aura, within 3 minutes, the target cannot cause substantial damage to you. Fuck. There is something about this talent entry. Yagami Ryosuke looked at the information introduction above. 2 attributes, 1 combat penetration, strengthen Yagami Ryosuke's ability to see through the enemy's flaws in battle and seize the fleeting opportunity. A fighting instinct allows Yagami Ryosuke to fight very well with just his instincts even if he has little fighting experience. Some of his magical strokes are enough to impress people. These 2 attributes obviously increase Ryosuke Yagami's strength in battle. Use it well, and there will be no problem in defeating the weak with the strong. But the most important thing is the forced 50/50ths halo. This thing can actually force Ryosuke Yagami to become invincible for 3 minutes during a battle. Within 3 minutes, the target cannot cause substantial damage to itself. Isn't this invincible? What a great skill! However, the effect of this talent entry also has a prerequisite. That is the enemy's strength, which must be stronger than one's own. If it's someone with similar strength to Ryosuke Yagami, or simply weaker than him, that is completely ineffective. It's useless when you're abusing food, but if you're facing a strong enemy, this thing can not only save your life, but it may even make a comeback. Ryosuke Yagami feels that he is really here to eat the Shichiraku ramen today. Otherwise, at his age when he is still in the ninja school, when will he meet Kakashi, an elite Jonin? You know. At this moment, Kakashi seems to be still working in the Umbu. He would not show up in the village at all. Moreover, in addition to Kakashi, he also received additional biological pheromones from Metkai and Rock Lee. The latter is attack. But Metkai's biopheromone is absolutely valuable. After all, that's the man who almost brought up the finale. Even Kakashi can transform the golden talent entry, so Kai, there is no reason why a master of physical arts like Huan can only convert purple talent entries, right? This time, there are 2 golden talent entries. Good guy, I made a lot of money this time. Ryosuke Yagami smiled like a fox, feeling delighted. However, today's surprise seems not to be over yet. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully equipping 10 talent entries. The system will start updating in 3 seconds. System update. When Yagami Ryosuke was still confused. 3 seconds had passed. However, a progress bar appeared in his mind. 0%, 10%, 30%, 100%. Less than 5 seconds before and after. Before Ryosuke Yagami even had time to think about what changes would be made in the system update, the system was just updated. Ryosuke Yagami. No, do you update the system so quickly? What's your internet speed? 8G? Ryosuke. Yagami complained subconsciously. Then, he asked with concern, system, what functions did you add in this update? This update of the system adds the entry hang up function. The system replied. The entry hangs up? What's the use? Ryosuke Yagami wondered. The host can choose to idle an equipped talent entry, and the idle entry will gain corresponding experience points every day. The system quickly explained. So, if I hang up the entry Destiny's Child, how much experience points can I get? When Yagami Ryosuke heard this, his eyes lit up. This function is great. Because there were no decomposable talent entries before, all of Yagami Ryosuke's talent entries were still in their original state. None of them could be upgraded. No. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 32. Certainly. These talent entries on Ryosuke Yagami are all high-quality talent entries. Even if they are not upgraded, they are still very powerful. But wouldn't it be stronger if it could be upgraded to another level? Who would dislike becoming stronger? Therefore, the hang-up function when hearing an entry allows the hang-up entry to gain experience points as a reward. Ryosuke Yagami's interest was immediately aroused. I just don't know how much experience I get every day. The golden talent entry will be rewarded with 10 idle experience points every day. The system answered. 10 o'clock. Ryosuke Yagami did some calculations. To upgrade a golden talent entry to a god-level talent entry, it requires 100,000 experience points. 10 o'clock every day, that is, it takes 10,000 days. This special it's been over 27 years. No, is the experience value given by the system too little? It's only 10 o'clock, how can it be enough? Ryosuke Yagami immediately protested, dissatisfied. 10 experience points, what is that enough for? What? 10 experience points are enough to upgrade the white talent entry to green? Sorry. Ryosuke Yagami doesn't have that kind of rubbish talent entry. He doesn't like it either. Faced with Yagami Ryosuke's protest, the system did not respond. After Yagami Ryosuke waited for a while and found that the system ignored him, he could only accept this reality bitterly. 10 o'clock is 10 o'clock. Better than nothing. And if you think about it carefully, 10 o'clock is actually a lot. It takes a long time to upgrade the golden talent entry to the god-level talent entry, but what if it is upgraded from purple to gold? That was actually just over 2 years. It just happened to be shortly after the plot officially started. In this way, several purple talent entries on Yagami Ryosuke's body can be upgraded to gold. The attributes will definitely be greatly improved. What's more, hanging up is the next best thing. It mainly relies on decomposing other talent entries to gain experience points. Hanging up is just a shortcut for those who like to be lazy to win. By the way, the golden talent entry is worth 10 experience points every day when idle. What about the purple one? How many experience points does purple have every day? Ryosuke Yagami suddenly remembered that the 10 experience points were obtained by hanging up the golden talent entries. Not all talent entries. But this time, the system did not respond to him. Forget it, I'll see for myself. Yakami Ryosuke opened the character panel, and sure enough he found an idle bar at the bottom. There are 3 grids in the idle bar. This means that 3 talent entries can be idled at the same time. Ryosuke Yagami tried to put put the entry princess on it. A progress bar will appear immediately under this grid. 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds 6 experience points. Purple talent entry idle is worth 6 experience points every day. From this point of view, it is most cost-effective to hang up the golden talent entry. Yakami Ryosuke silently calculated in his mind. Although the gold talent entry takes longer to upgrade, it seems to be less cost-effective than the idle purple talent entry in the short term. But in fact it is not, because Yagami Ryosuke can also decompose other entries to gain experience points. Therefore, he can completely allocate all 3 idle slots to the golden talent entries. And the experience points obtained from decomposition in the future will be allocated to the purple talent entries first. In this way, the purple talent entries are taken care of, accelerate their upgrade to gold, and enjoy the maximum idle benefits. And after all the purple talent entries are upgraded to gold, Ryosuke Yagami can allocate the experience points obtained from subsequent decomposition to these 3 idle golden talents. Now, speed up their upgrades. So, Ryosuke Yagami thought about it for a while, and arranged the 3 golden talent entries of Azura's Kindness, Indra's Resentment and Destined Child. There are 3 idle slots. Among them, Azura's Kindness and Indra's Resentment have nothing to say. They must occupy one of the idle slots. Because these 2 talent entries are definitely golden words. The best among the articles. The reason why Ryosuke Yagami chose Destiny's Child as the 3rd choice instead of other golden entries was after careful consideration. Compared with other golden entries, it is better in 1 or 2 aspects. Promote. Son of Destiny. This entry has been improved in all aspects. A direct 500% improvement in all aspects. And Ryosuke Yagami has figured out the activation switch of this entry. Totally idealistic. As long as he feels in danger, this entry will be activated. Therefore, choosing to upgrade Son of Destiny first is obviously more important than other golden entries. I wonder if this on-hook position can be increased in the future. There are only 3 AFK slots, but Yagami Ryosuke still feels that it is too little. If it can be like a talent entry, with unlimited equipment, that would be great. Of course, Yagami Ryosuke also knows that is impossible. If there is no limit, wouldn't the talent entries of all equipment be able to be idle? On-hook position 1, Azura's Mercy, Gold, 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds, 10 experience points. On-hook position 2, Indra's Resentment, Gold, 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds, 10 experience points. AFK position 3, Son of Destiny, Gold, 23 hours 59 minutes and 59 seconds, 10 EXP. After confirming the 3 AFK talent entries, Yagami Ryosuke also returned to the number 4 training ground in the morning and continued his training in the afternoon. In the afternoon, it was still physical training. Push UPS, squats, kicks, punches. A group of hellishly difficult training items were completed over and over again by Ryosuke Yagami. Although very tired. But there is also a sense of accomplishment. At the same time, the 5 shadow clones created by Ryosuke Yagami are also working hard to cultivate. A shadow clone is practicing treading water. Two shadow clones are practicing Raise Nan. Of the remaining 3 shadow clones, 2 are responsible for practicing ninjutsu, and the other is familiar with various taijutsu techniques while opening the Byakugan and Sharingan, using the ability of the inside eye to observe the surroundings. One is to avoid being discovered. On the other hand, it is also to not let go of any opportunity to copy more ninjutsu. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 33. Late at night. In the bedroom. Ryosuke Yagamai is sorting out today's harvest. A golden talent entry, plus the idle function after the system update. In addition, the shadow clone who had opened his Byakugan and Sharingan and been observing several training grounds had copied 3 new ninjutsu today. A C-level water prison jutsu, a C-level inner decapitation jutsu, and the B-level fire escape ninjutsu that surprised Yagamai Ryokai the most, Fire Dragon Flame Bullet. The water prison jutsu was copied from a Chuyunin. It seems that he is still a ninja from the Sarutobi clan. It is said that ninjas from the Sarutobi clan basically do not practice outside. They all practice at the family training ground inside the clan. It's rare to see someone come to a public training ground, so Ryosuke Yagamai is lucky. The other decapitation technique in the heart was copied from the opponent of the Sarutobi clan ninja. That's right. The reason why Ryosuke Yagamai was able to copy 3 new ninjutsu today. It was all because these 2 Chuyunin had nothing to do but fight in the training ground number 2 after they had enough to eat. As a result, Yagamai Ryosuke was given an advantage and let him use 3 ninjutsu in vain. And there is also a B-level fire escape among them. This B-level fire escape was also copied from this Chuyunin of the Sarutobi clan. I have to say, he is worthy of being a ninja of the Sarutobi clan. Even if he is just a Chuyunin, his ninjutsu is superior to that of other civilians, especially Jounin. For B-level fire escape ninjutsu like Fire Dragon Flame Bomb, ordinary civilian ninjas don't know how many tasks they need to complete and how much contribution they need to accumulate before they can redeem one. And these family ninjas. Basically, as long as you show similar talent, you can be given such ninjutsu by the elders of the clan. In comparison, the treatment can be said to be very different. Other than that, things like shuriken throwing techniques. Ryosuke Yagamai also copied it conveniently. He is not proficient in shuriken throwing, and he doesn't have much interest in it. Generally, only middle genin will rely more on this skill in battle. After reaching Jounin, ninjutsu, illusion, or taijutsu will basically determine the outcome. Shuriken throwing? Not everyone can play as fancy as Uchiha. The shuriken throwing skills of most genin can only be said to be average. This is what Ryosuke Yagamai copied. Maybe next time I can copy the 2-pillar shuriken throwing technique. Ryosuke Yagamai suddenly thought to himself. Although Sasuke's shuriken skills are not as fancy as his brother's, they are enough to outperform most of the genin. However, Ryosuke Yagamai doesn't take this matter too seriously. After all, his current strength is comparable to that of a special jounin, and is catching up with a formal jounin. Shuriken throwing or something like that doesn't necessarily require you to be very good at it. It's optional. You may not be able to use it anyway. Superior. The biggest gain today is the talent entry 50-50 open, followed by the improvement in physical fitness after a day of practice. The advantage of having a poor foundation is that the early improvement effect will be particularly obvious. It makes people very motivated. It is like losing weight. If you can see the weight loss every day, then the motivation will naturally flow. But if you lose weight no matter how you do it, you will lose weight if you don't see results, you will naturally give up over time. Had a comfortable sleep. When he woke up the next day, Ryosuke Yagamai was not sore all over from the crazy workout the day before. If it had been anyone else, he would have been unable to get up. But Ryosuke Yagamai acted like nothing was wrong. Not only does my whole body feel comfortable, I even feel much more flexible and lighter when moving than yesterday. One day of exercise, the effect is terrifying. If other Taijutsu-type ninjas knew about this, their eyes would turn red with jealousy. Mom, I'm not going home for dinner today. I'm going to have a picnic with my classmates. While eating breakfast, Yagamai Ryosuke thought about the better picnic with Ino and the others the day before yesterday, so he told his mother Yagamai Mizuki in advance. Going on a picnic with classmates? Would you like your mother to buy some things for you in advance and take them there? Yakamamiya asked with concern. No, Mom. Ryosuke Yagamai quickly finished his breakfast. We will prepare it ourselves. Then we can catch some hares, pheasants, and the like in the forest. Hare and pheasant in the forest? Yagamai Mitsuki subconsciously remembered that when she was young, she went on a picnic with her classmates and said she wanted to catch game by herself. In the end, everyone went home hungry. Is it really possible? Yagamai Mitsuki asked worriedly. After all, she also has personal experience in this regard, and it is the experience of someone who has been there. Don't worry, Mom. Well, then you should pay attention to safety and don't go to those dangerous places. Seeing her son's insistence, Yagamai Mitsuki didn't say anything more. She just reminded her son to pay attention to safety. After all, even in the village, some places are not safe. Mom, I went out to practice. Be careful on the road. Mizuki Yagamai turned around and shouted. It's still training ground number 4, the same place as yesterday. Ryosuke Yagamai first separated 5 shadow clones and asked them to practice separately. Then he walked to the tree of yesterday again, continue the hellish training. When people are doing something seriously, time always seems to pass quickly. Unknowingly, it is noon again. Ryosuke Yagamai temporarily stopped exercising. He took a bath in the river, put on the jacket that he took off in advance. Then left the number 4 training ground. What are you having for lunch today? How about going to eat Ichiraku ramen again? Maybe you'll meet other famous ninjas in the village. Yakamai Ryosuke was walking while thinking about what he wanted to eat. At this moment, the sunlight in front of him was suddenly blocked by something. Yagamai Ryosuke raised his head and saw that Yoi had met a few days ago. Hong Zheng stood in front of him and looked at him. Little brother, we meet again. Yoi Hong said to Yagamai Ryosuke with a smile. It's Sister Hong. Ryosuke Yagamai shouted sweetly. Did Sister Hong just come back from grocery shopping? Ryosuke Yagamai noticed that Yoi Hong was carrying many large and small bags in her hands, which contained some vegetables, meat, and other ingredients. Apparently she had just returned from the vegetable market. Yes, there will be guests at home at noon, so prepare more food. Noon. Ryosuke Yagamai looked at the sun that was already hanging in the middle of the sky. Is it already noon? Isn't it a little late to buy groceries and cook them now? Kurane Yoi seemed to see what Ryosuke Yagamai was thinking. What was he thinking? He couldn't help but stick out his tongue, and said cutely, I accidentally got the wrong time, so it's a bit late. Fortunately, everyone is on their own and there are not so many rules. What about you, Ryosuke-chan? Want to go home for dinner? Yoi Hong asked. Yagamai Ryosuke shook his head. I won't go home for lunch. Then you must not have eaten yet, right? Yoi Hong smiled and stretched out her hand, shook the bag in her hand and said, then, little Ryosuke, would you like to help sister carry the bag? Sister can treat you to dinner. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 34. Really? Sister Hong, how are your cooking skills? Isn't this your first time cooking? Ryosuke Yagamai said that he was very doubtful about the cooking skills of Konoha female ninjas. After all, these female ninjas are performing tasks all day long, how can they have time to practice cooking skills? With such a high probability, each and every cook will the art should not be very good. Of course. Except for those who get married. Most female ninjas can develop good cooking skills after getting married. How? Worried about your sister's cooking skills? Yoi Kurane smiled and tapped her finger on Yagamai Ryosuke's head, then handed him a smaller bag and asked him to carry it. Let's go and see my sister's cooking skills. Okay, then I'll give it a go. Ryosuke Yagamai looked like he was ready to die generously. He immediately made Yoi Kurane laugh. Yoi Kurane's residence is to the north of Konoha village. This is where most of the ninja tribes are located, close to the center of Konoha, and the location is very good although the Uhahi clan is withered. Compared with the Hatake clan, the area where they live is indeed much better than that of the Hatake clan. However, Uhahi Kurane's home is not big, just a small one. A two-story building. It has a front and backyard. It's about the same size as Ryosuke Yagamai's house. But the location is much better. Is this Sister Hong's home? Yakami Ryosuke was still looking curiously when he walked in the door. Come in, there are no children's shoes at home, so just wear my sister's shoes. Yoi Kurane handed over a pair of white plush slippers. The shoes are small and not too big. However, they still look a bit big for the 10-year-old Yagamai Ryosuke. Wearing slippers a few sizes larger, Yagamai Ryosuke followed Yoi Kurane into the living room of her house. The layout of the living room was very simple, with a kotetsu table, a TV, and a sideboard with some photos, water glasses and other things on it. Ryosuke Yagamai I saw one of the photos showing a serious-faced uncle taking a photo with the teenage Kurane Yoi. I thought that this person should be Kurane Yoi's father, Kurane Yoi. Most ninjas have short lives. Those who can live a long life, either they are a nuisance, or they are extremely stubborn. The elders of Konoha, such as the Sandaime Hokage and Shimura Danzo, are both. Therefore, they live very long. Especially the two elders, Koharu and Mito Kaden who have been remarried. Guy. He lived longer than Sarutobi Hiruzen and Shimura Danzo. He even lived directly from the main story of Naruto to the period of incombustible Boruto. He also went to the extreme. He never went to the battlefield and never directly participated in the battle. When in danger, he hides in the family base camp. From the beginning to the end, he implements the word go. Look at this person's ability. How many people in the ninja world can compare? He is as strong as the first-generation Hokage Senju Hashirama, and his strength is close to the Six Paths level. He died at a young age. So in the ninja world, those who are strong may not necessarily live longer. Those who are weak can live a long life as long as they find the right method. That's my father. He was sacrificed when I was a teenager. At this time, Kurane Yoi also walked behind Yagamai Ryosuke. Looking at the photo, her father's voice and smile when he was alive came to mind. Sister Hong, don't be sad. If Uncle Hong can see you in the Pure Land world, he will definitely hope that you have a happy life. Ryosuke Yagamai grabbed Yoi Kurane's little hand and comforted her. Uhahi Kurane died in the Nine Tails Rebellion. That was 10 years ago. At that time, Uhahi Kurane was 17 years old and still a Chunin. The Nine Tails Rebellion. Many ninjas of Konoha village were sacrificed. Most of them were civilian ninjas, and a small number of family ninjas. Yoi Zhenhong was one of the few elite jounin who died in that battle. The general strength reached the level of an elite jounin. After leveling up, the probability of a ninja being sacrificed in danger will plummet, because the life-saving ability of elite jounin will be much stronger than that of jounin and middle genin. They basically have a very powerful trump card. For example, Kakashi's Reikari. Yoi Hiroyuki can be rated as an elite jounin, so he naturally has outstanding abilities. What a pity. The Yuhei clan is a genjutsu family. They are good at illusions. And the original enemy of Yuhei Shinko was Ju, who was controlled by Tsuchiko with a kaleidoscope. Tails. His genjutsu was of no use at all. Before he could use his abilities, he was affected by Kuwabai's large-scale attack. He eventually died from his injuries due to his serious injuries. In fact, I have lived quite well these years. If my father really looked at me in the Pure Land world, I think he would be pleased. Yoi. Hong suddenly said with a smile. Moreover, I am currently preparing to be rated as an official jonin. When I become an official jonin, my father will be proud of me. Sister Hong can definitely do it. Ryosuke Yagamai raised his head and said. Then thank you Ryosuke-chan for your kind words. Yoi Kurane smiled and rubbed Yagamai Ryosuke's face, then smiled and asked him to sit wherever he wanted, while she turned around and went to the kitchen to get busy. Yagamai Ryosuke sat in the living room for a while and then ran to the kitchen. Sister Hong, let me help you. Unexpectedly, our little Ryosuke is still a little gentleman. Yoi Hong turned around and said with a smile, okay, can Ryosuke-chan know how to chop vegetables? I have practiced swordsmanship. Ryosuke Yagamai said as he ran over, picked up the kitchen knife and made signs in his hand. In fact, he had never practiced any swordsmanship. He just saw the swordsmanship scroll left by his father and made a few random signs on his own. Just like now. Kurane Yoi is a special jonin, and she also has a good friend named Uzuki Yojeo who is good at swordsmanship, so she also has a certain ability to identify swordsmanship. She could tell at a glance that Ryosuke Yagamai had never learned any swordsmanship at all, he was just making random gestures. Then please ask Ryosuke-chan to cut these vegetables. Zihihong smiled and put some dishes aside. No problem, look at mine. It's just chopping vegetables, so Yagamai Ryosuke can't be bothered. Although he doesn't know how to cook. But it's just chopping, it's no problem at all. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 35. Kurane Yoi and Ryosuke Yagamai were busy in the kitchen together. On the other side, two figures also walked outside the small building. Zian, your clothes look great today. Where did you buy them? Walking on the road, holding a few skewers of Mitarashi Anko and eating meatballs, he also looked at the beautiful dress of Uzuki Yojeo next to him and asked curiously. Uzuki Yojeo, a special jounin of Konoha Umbu. Usually she gives the impression of a relatively cold young lady. She has the iconic long purple hair, sharp eyes, and beautiful face. But today Uzuki Zian is not dressed in a ninja outfit, but wearing a thin pink coat, with a red lining inside. It doesn't look dark at all. Instead, it looks like a wealthy daughter. I bought this during the last holiday and I think it looks pretty good. Mao Yu. Zian said with a faint smile, besides, I'm not taking a break these 2 days. Today I'm visiting Sister Hong's house again, so naturally I have to dress more formally. Oh. But it seems that you are doing this very casually to me. Mitare Anko nodded seriously, then looked at her daily style of dress. She was completely outclassed. No, Hongdu, you look beautiful no matter what you wear. Mao Yuzian said with a smile. Is it? Actually I think so too. Haha. Mitarashi Anko couldn't help but laugh happily. At this moment, two more figures came towards us. Oh. It's Anko and Utsuki Jounin, you two. Sarutobi Asuma, who was holding a cigarette in his mouth, greeted the two of them. Asuma, what are you doing? Uzuki Yuyan didn't say anything. She wasn't familiar with Sarutobi Asuma and had only met her a few times. However, Mitarashi Anko was very carefree and asked directly. Then she pointed to Yoi Kurane's house next to her. Oh. I'm here to see Hong. Asuma said. Today is not the weekend. I happened to hear that Yoi Kurane was also on rest today and did not go out to perform tasks. Therefore, Asuma thought of inviting Kurane to have lunch and go shopping together. He also just recently back to the village. Then I found that all my friends in the past have changed a lot in the past few years. Especially Hong, who has become more and more beautiful. Asuma couldn't take his eyes away. For his son Sarutobi Hiruzen, who knew Yoi's character very well, also noticed his son's thoughts, so he gave Yoi Kurane a vacation from time to time. The tasks assigned to her were basically not dangerous and could be completed relatively easily. Brush at the same time, there will be no accidents. After all, there is a high probability that this will be his future daughter-in-law. For his own family, Sarutobi Hiruzen still has a preference. Otherwise, the Sarutobi clan would not have cultivated a daughter-in-law during his reign. There are so many jonin coming. There are advantages, of course, it will be cheaper for your own family. I knew you were here to see Hong again. Mitere Anko said. I've read your mind, and winked at Asuma, which made Asuma feel a little embarrassed. So what are you doing? Asuma quickly changed the topic and pointed at the two of them. Especially Yuyuki Zian. Asuma has never seen her dressed like this. We are different from you, we are Hong's guests today. Mitere Anko raised her head with a proud expression. Ah, this. Asuma smiled and scratched his head. It seems that I came at the wrong time. He thought. However, since you've come here, you can't not even meet in person, right? What's more, my father also said that the most important thing when chasing a girl is to be thick-skinned. If you always feel embarrassed, you can't catch a girl then. Then I'll go there with you. Asuma remembered what his father said and implemented it. He was not so thick-skinned before. But now, Asuma feels that he has adapted. And he feels that it is pretty good. If you want to come along, come along. Mitarashi Anko didn't care, and went up with Yuki Zian and knocked on the door. Dong dong dong. Red, here we come. Anko stood outside the door and shouted loudly. Asuma. Inside the house. Yoi Kurane, who was busy in the kitchen, also heard the whirring sound of Anko outside. Little Ryuzyuk, please go help open the door. My sister can't leave here for the time being. Yoi Kurane, who was busy preparing lunch, said to Ryusuke Yagamai beside her. Okay, I'll open the door. Ryusuke Yagamai nodded, turned around and ran towards the entrance. 3 balls of chakra, 3 guests. Ryusuke Yagamai has sensed the chakra in the body of the person outside the door through the wall and several doors. This is not the clairvoyance ability of Byakugan. It is the perception of good and evil that comes with demon fox incarnation. The perception of good and evil mainly perceives is actually chakra. Therefore, Ryusuke Yagamai can feel other people's chakra from a distance. Like the 3 outside the door, they should all be ninjas close to Jounin. As for good and evil, because I haven't seen it, so I don't feel it yet. Hong, open the door quickly, I'm going to starve to death. Outside the door, Anko was still shouting. Yagamai Ryuzyuk, who was about to open the door, also twitched the corner of his mouth, thinking that this Mitarashi Anko was really making a noise and couldn't calm down for a moment. Click. Ryusuke Yagamai opened the door for the 3 people outside. As soon as the door opened, a figure ran in. Woohoo! Hong, I miss you so much. Anko ran in and opened her arms as if to hug Yoi Kurane, who she thought she was. But when she came in, she found that the person standing in front of her was not Yoi Kurane, but a cute and handsome little boy. Anko blinked in surprise. Suddenly her mouth a sentence popped out, you can't be Hong's illegitimate son, right? Ryusuke Yagamai. The moon is shining brightly at sunset. Asuma. Hong Do's words immediately shocked the 3 of them. Ryosuke Yagami was completely speechless. Sister, how did you know that I am Sister Hong's illegitimate son? He said while rolling his eyes. As a result, Anko pointed at Yagami Ryosuke's eyes with seriousness. Your eyes are as red as red. She said seriously. Ah, this. What a coincidence. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 36. I am not Sister Hong's illegitimate son. Ryosuke Yagami dropped these words and turned around to walk in. He didn't want to deal with Anko, this crazy bitch. Cut. What an unlovable brat. Anko curled her lips, then giggled and put on her slippers and walked in. Ozuki Zien, who was following behind, also changed her shoes and walked into the house. This made Asuma, who was left behind, a little stumped. Because there are no shoes he can change into. Well, do you still have slippers? Asuma asked. Ryosuke Yagami looked back at the second-generation official of Konoha, a unit of measurement worth 35 million taels. I don't know this. I'll ask Sister Hong, he said. Oh, then I'll wait here now. Asuma nodded and seemed to have a good temper. But with Yagami Ryosuke's sense of good and evil, this guy had some ill intentions towards him. Although, that was because of Anko's mindless words just now, yes. But Yagami Ryosuke has already explained it clearly, with a touch of malice, which makes him seem a bit petty. Hong, you are still cooking. In the kitchen, Anko, who ran in, saw Yoi Hong, who was still working on the stove. She pouted her lips and looked like she was about to cry. It's getting better soon. It's getting better soon. Zihai Hong turned around and said, you and Zian should go to the living room and sit for a while. You can eat soon. Really? Anko looked at the few empty plates placed next to her. It didn't look like she would be able to eat right away. Gililu. Her stomach was growling. Sister Hong, do you want my help? At this time, Mao Yuzian also walked in. She looked around the kitchen and then asked. No, please take Hongdu to the living room and sit there for a while. By the way, help take care of little Ryosuke. Ryosuke? Is that the little boy who just opened the door? Ozuki Zien thought. At this time, Yagami Ryosuke also ran over. Sister Hong, a bearded uncle, came to the door. Is he also the guest invited by Sister Hong? Ryosuke Yagami doesn't think Yoi Kurane would invite Asuma to a dinner party like this with friends. At this point in time, the two of them probably haven't confirmed their relationship yet. Bearded uncle. Zihi Hong turned around and asked in surprise. It's Asuma. Anko pouted, still feeling uncomfortable that she couldn't eat right away. That guy insists on following me, and I can't even drive him away. It's him. Yoi Kurane frowned. She doesn't have any good feelings for Asuma at the moment. She is just an ordinary old classmate. Although Asuma had shown that he wanted to pursue her before. Yoi Kurane told the truth. He didn't feel that way for the time being. He never accepted Asuma's advances. Unexpectedly, when she, Anko and their best friends were having a dinner today, this guy actually came over. Let me go and have a few words with him. Yoi Hong first put out the food in the pot, then turned off the fire, wiped her hands and walked towards the entrance. Don't chat for too long. Hongdu turned around and shouted. Just a few words. Yoi Hong glanced at her angrily. At the door of the entrance. Yoi Hong walked over and saw Asuma standing in the entrance. Hong, what a coincidence. I originally wanted to ask you out for lunch, but I didn't expect you already had plans for today. When Asuma saw Yoi Kurane coming out, he quickly put on a flattering smile and said. Sorry, Asuma. Zihi Hong said, today Anko and I are having a dinner with our best friends, so we can't invite you in. Ah, this. Asuma didn't expect Yoi Kurane to be so direct. Are you not even allowed in? Asuma felt a little unhappy. Especially when I saw Ryusuke Yagami peeking over there, I felt even more unhappy. Girlfriends gathering for dinner? Is that kid also a best friend? Boyfriend? Although Asuma felt unhappy, she still pretended to be generous and said it doesn't matter. But Ryusuke Yagami felt that this guy's malice toward him had increased a lot. Cut. It's not me whose sister Hong rejected, it's none of my business. Ryusuke Yagami complained in his heart. After Yui Kurane said a few words of apology to Asuma, she asked him to leave. Although Asuma was unwilling, she turned around and left obediently. Click. Close the door. Yui Hong turned around and came back. Is little Ryusuke peeking? When she saw Ryusuke Yagami at the door of the living room, who was acting surreptitiously, she also smiled and pinched his cheek. Don't pinch my face. Ryusuke Yagami resisted fiercely. Is that bearded man just now Sister Hong's boyfriend? He asked. No, they are just ordinary friends. Yui Hong explained. Oh, I thought Sister Hong liked the bearded man. Ryusuke Yagami nodded, already knowing clearly in his heart that Kurane Yui and Asuma probably don't have feelings between men and women yet. Asuma obviously only has unrequited love. Kid, your name is Ryusuke. In the living room. Anko looked Yagami Ryusuke up and down, and suddenly smiled like a fox. My name is Ryusuke Yagami, eldest sister. Ryusuke Yagami said angrily. This crazy woman obviously didn't hold anything back. Ryusuke Yagami, right? Why, listening to what you just said, do you think Asuma and your sister Hong are not a good match? Anko asked with a smile. Sure enough. She didn't hold her fart in. On the side, Yuki Zian, who was sitting quietly, heard this and looked over quietly. To be honest, she also felt that Asuma and Hong were not a good match. Asuma looked, it looks too old-fashioned. And I like to smoke. I can smell a strong smell of smoke from a long way away. Uzuki Yojeo doesn't like the smell of smoke. Although she doesn't like Asuma. Of course. The main thing is to look at Yui Kurane. It's up to you whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter if she says it. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 37. Of course that bearded man is not worthy of Sister Hong. Ryusuke. Yagami rolled his eyes at Anko and said, that bearded man looks like he is almost 40 years old. Sister Hong is still so young, how can she be with that kind of uncle? When Ryusuke Yagami said that Asuma looked like she was in her 40s, Uzuki Yuyan couldn't help laughing. Uzuki Ryusuke heard the sound and looked over. Uzuki Zian's cheeks turned slightly red, then she deliberately picked up the cup and drank water. Haha. I didn't expect you, the little brat, to be quite interesting. Anko was not like Uzuki Zian. She laughed without any image, patted the table and said, that's right, that Asuma guy does look old. Hong, you heard that too, right? She shouted towards the kitchen. If you are with Asuma in the future, others may think that he is your uncle. After she finished speaking, she couldn't help laughing. At this time, Yui Hong came over with 2 plates of dishes. After putting the dishes down, she glared at Anko angrily. Don't worry, it's impossible for me to be with Asuma, not in this life. After Yui Hong finished speaking, she turned around and went to work in the kitchen again. After a while, Anko, who couldn't sit still, ran to the kitchen to check the progress. Yagami Ryusuke and Uzuki Yuyan were left in the living room, staring with big eyes. Small eyes. Beautiful sister, what is your name? My name is Ryusuke Yagami. Of course Yagami Ryusuke knew that the person in front of him was Uzuki Zian, but he hadn't said it yet. Maoyu Zian, is brother Liangja a relative of sister Hong's family? Ozuki Zien asked curiously. Although Anko's words about illegitimate children just now were a joke. But I have to say that Yagami Ryusuke does look a bit like Yoi Kurane, mainly because of the eyes, which are particularly similar. No, my surname is Yagami, and Sister Hong's surname is Yoi. There is no way they are related. Ryusuke Yagami shook his head and said. That's it? Mao Yuzian nodded and stopped talking. She is actually quite boring. Even when she is with friends, she is the kind of listener most of the time. Sister Zien, your dress is so beautiful. Ryusuke Yagami is not as socially afraid as Ozuki Yuyan. He ran over and sat down next to Ozuki Yuyan, and reached out to touch her clothes. Is it beautiful? I also think it's pretty. Hearing Yagami Ryusuke complimenting her clothes for looking good, Ozuki Zien was also very happy. But Sister Zien is so beautiful, she must look good in anything she wears. Ryusuke Yagami said sweetly. Brother Ryusuke has such a sweet mouth. He will definitely be very good at pleasing girls when he grows up. Ozuki Zien said with a smile. Suddenly, she felt that there was no longer the strange feeling between Yagami Ryusuke and Yagami Ryusuke at the beginning. After a few words, the relationship became much closer. Will Sister Zien like it? Yagami Ryusuke blinked and looked at her. Of course, Brother Ryusuke, you are so cute. Ozuki Zien smiled and pinched Yagami Ryusuke's cheek. It seemed that they all liked pinching his cheek. Doesn't it feel good? And Yagami Ryusuke also took advantage of the situation and ran to sit on Ozuki Zien's lap and hugged him. Looking at her, Ozuki Zien was a little uncomfortable at first, even a little shy. But thinking that Yagami Ryusuke was just a child, he didn't think too much. After a while, Anko came out of the kitchen with 2 plates of dishes. Back. She looked at the 2 of them in surprise. When did your relationship become so good? What happened while I was away? She had a question mark on her face. After putting down the plate, she came over and pinched Ryusuke Yagami's cheek. Hee. It really feels good in the hand. Anko smiled like a slut. Ryusuke Yagami waved her hand away with a look of disgust. Are you a female gangster? He hid in Mao Yuzian's arms and hugged her a little harder. Hey. No matter how you look at it, you are more like a little hooligan, right? Hongdu said dissatisfied. The way the 2 of them were noisy made Yuki Zien next to her laugh happily. It felt pretty good like this. It was much more interesting than when she usually worked. 12:30 noon. It's finally open. Anko was almost too hungry to argue with Ryusuke Yagami. At this moment, he was lying softly on the tatami, like a snake. It's open. Zihihong came out with the last plate of food and put it on the table. Ah! It's finally time to eat. Hongdu, who had been lying still just now, jumped up as soon as he heard that dinner was about to begin. I'll get the dishes. She hurried into the kitchen, found the dishes and chopsticks with ease, and ran back. Here, Zien, this is yours. Kid, this is for you, do you know how to use it? Sister Hongdu, please don't say such stupid things, otherwise people will think you are naive. What an unlovable brat. Hongdu turned his head angrily, then sat down and saw the table full of sumptuous lunch, and suddenly started to laugh silly again. I'm starting. She picked up the chopsticks, picked up a piece of tempura and put it into her mouth. She immediately closed her eyes with a happy face. Ryusuke Yagami. Do you want to be so exaggerated? He doubtfully picked up the chopsticks and put a piece of pork chop into his mouth to chew. After a while. Ryusuke Yagami's eyes lit up. It tastes really good. How about it? Does the food cooked by your sister taste good? Zihihong asked with a smile. So delicious. Ryusuke Yagami nodded repeatedly, praising Yui Kurene's excellent cooking skills. "Come on, try this." Yui Hong happily personally served Yagami Ryusuke with dishes and let him taste her proud creation. "Tasty. This is delicious too." Yakami Ryusuke's mouth was full of sauce. Yui Kurene saw it and smiled and gently picked up the napkin on the side and wiped his mouth. "Eat slowly, no one will compete with you," she said with a smile. Then, she saw Anko next to her, sweeping away the food in front of her like a storm. Yui Hong. This bad friend is hopeless. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 38. In the restaurant. All the dishes on the table were eaten by 4 people. There wasn't any soup left. Anko snatched the last bite from Ryusuke Yagami's chopsticks and put it into her mouth with a smile. He even proudly made faces at Ryusuke Yagami. Childish devil. Yagami Ryusuke rolled his eyes and thought to himself. Red beans, you eat the most, go wash the dishes. Zihihong saw her best friend's embarrassing look and immediately decided to let Anko wash the dishes. "Ah! I'm so full from eating that I can't move." Anko lay down on the tatami and pretended to be dead. "Stop pretending and go quickly, or I won't treat you to food next time." As a good best friend, Yui Hong wouldn't know Hong Do's character. This is obviously just pretending. Moreover, her acting skills are so bad. Just go, just a little bit." Anko got up quickly, and before leaving, she made a face at Ryusuke Yagami and stuck out her tongue. Ryusuke Yagami smiled and handed her 2 plates. "Sister Hongdu, come on. Have to wash it, red beans." "Ah. This damn brat is so annoying." Helpless, under Yui Hong's stern eyes, Anko could only walk into the kitchen with a lot of plates and start cleaning them in the sink. "Ryusuke, do you want some tea?" In the living room. Yui Hong smiled and turned around to ask Yagami Ryusuke. "Well, I ate a lot just now, so it would be nice to have a cup of tea now." "Ryusuke." Yagami nodded and said. "Zien, what about you?" Zihihong asked Zien on the side again. "Let me have a drink too." Mao Zien nodded and said. "Okay, Hongdu, please make 3 cups of tea." Ryusuke Yagami almost stopped laughing when he heard this. He thought Yui Kurene was going to make the tea herself, but in the end he asked Anko, who was washing the dishes, to make the tea. Amazing. "Hong, you know how to bully me." At the door of the kitchen, Anko stuck her head out with an aggrieved face and said. When Yuri Hong saw it, she also stood up and walked over with a smile. "Okay, I'll go clubbing." She was just joking. This is her home, and Anko has already handed over the washing of dishes. How could she continue to make tea for them? Soon, Yui Hong came back with 3 cups of tea. The tea was a little bitter. But it's just right to drink it at this time, just in time to scrape the oil and water in your stomach. Sister Hong is really gentle and virtuous, and she will definitely be a good wife in the future. Yakami Ryusuke took a sip of tea and did not forget to praise Yui Hong's virtue. "No matter how virtuous your sister Hong is, what does it have to do with you, a brat?" Anko came out of the kitchen wiping her hands at this time. When she heard that Yagami Ryusuke was flattering Hong again, she immediately attacked him. "Then just wait until I grow up and marry Sister Hong as my wife," Ryusuke Yagami said in a matter-of-fact manner. "Cut. He is indeed a little pervert." Hongdo curled her lips, sat down and said to Yui Hong, "Hongdo, you have to be careful, this kid is trying to trick you." "Hongdo, stop making trouble." Yui Hong slapped Anko angrily. In her eyes, Ryusuke Yagami is just a child, and children's words are unbridled. Can what a child says be taken seriously? "But, kid." Anko suddenly looked at Ryusuke Yagami with a smile and said, "If you marry your sister Hong, You won't be able to stay in your sister Xian's arms like just now. Then I will marry sister Xian back home. Ryusuke. Yagami said with a smile. Have a look. Have a look. Hong, this kid's true nature has been exposed. Anko pointed at Ryusuke Yagami and shouted excitedly. Anko, Ryusuke is just a child, how can you take what a child says seriously? Zihihong rolled her eyes angrily. This best friend of hers is obviously in her 20s, but she still acts like a child all day long. Just now she was fighting for food with the child. Now she said what the child said seriously. Seriously, why do you become more childish as you grow older? Cut. You don't believe it, right? Hongdu curled her lips, looked at the two people who were laughing and took it seriously, and said, just watch, I think this kid is serious. Of course Yagami Ryusuke is serious. How can a man not like beautiful women? Unless he doesn't. Moreover, as the saying goes, a beauty matches a strong man. Yagami Ryusuke thinks that he will definitely be a strong man in the future. There will be more strong ones. What's wrong with my wife? This is called hard work for those who can do it. Moreover, in the original work, the endings of Yui Hong and Yuki Xian were so tragic. One died of her husband, the other died of her boyfriend. No one is happy. Even for them. For the sake of happiness, Yagami Ryusuke has to take action. What is this called? This is called helping others. After staying at Yui Kurene's house for a while, Yagami Ryusuke said goodbye at almost 1:30 in the afternoon. It is said that Wienwen Township is the tomb of heroes. Yagami Ryusuke felt that this sentence was absolutely correct. No, it had only been a while, but he was already a little reluctant to leave. Fortunately, he is determined. Don't be moved by beauty. Unswervingly, I chose to leave this gentle village and continue the hard training in the afternoon. It's really not easy for me. Ryusuke Yagami was moved by his willpower. Then he smiled and touched his cheek. Just before leaving, Yui Hong and Yuki Xian both kissed him. As for that crazy woman Hongdu, Ryusuke Yagami pinched her and ran away. If Yui Kurene hadn't stopped him, Anko would have definitely caught up and beaten him up. After all, the pinching position is a bit tricky. Get away. Get away. Ryusuke Yagami sped up and ran directly on the roof. Soon he arrived at the number 4 training ground. He dived into the forest. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 39. Under the trees by the river. Ryusuke Yagami was sweating and kicking the big tree in front of him. In just 2 days, obvious marks of kicking were left on the tree trunk. A large piece of bark had fallen off, and the area that had been kicked frequently was much darker than the surrounding area. Quick. 3,000 kicks done. Ryusuke Yagami stopped to take a rest. Huh. I feel less tired than yesterday. Maybe it's time to increase the number of reps tomorrow. Ryusuke Yagami felt that he adapted very quickly. On the first day, he completed 3,000 kicks and felt that the leg no longer felt like his own. It took him a full 6 or 7 minutes of rest before the leg muscles recovered. Come here. This is still him. If it had been anyone else, if he had practiced like this from the beginning, he would have been exhausted. But this was only the second day. Yagami Ryusuke felt that he was already used to such intensity. He even wanted to do it again. +1+. By the way, today's entry has not been converted yet. While resting, Ryusuke Yagami suddenly remembered. He quickly took out a piece of black hair from the pheromone warehouse. He collected this yesterday. He was not sure whether it belonged to Metkai or Rock Lee. But it doesn't matter. If it belongs to Metkai, then some of the remaining ones must belong to Lock Lee. And vice versa. And the target that has been transformed cannot be transformed again. Therefore, as long as it is screened at the time, that's it. System, transform the hair on my hands. Ryosuke Yagami thought silently in his mind. The next second, the black hair in his hand disappeared instantly. At the same time, the system prompts also sounded in his mind. Ding! Conversion successful. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the talent entry, Burning Soul of Youth, purple. Purple talent entry? That should be Rock Lee's. If it is Metkai, it should be golden. After all, Kakashi's is also golden. It makes no sense that Metkai would be the first level. Check. Swipe. An interface unfolds in front of you. Burning Soul of Youth, purple burn, my youth, those were years of sweat, Zenjin spent sleepless days and nights, the soul of my youth, burned to the end of the world. Ryosuke Yagami. No. Let's just say, can the transform talent entries not be so dependent on the owner? When Yagami Ryosuke looked at the introduction of this entry, he always felt that Xiao Li was standing next to him and shouting loudly into his ears. He even has a sense of imagery. Forget it. Let's look at the entry attributes. Burning Soul of Youth, purple. Physical training efficiency at 350%. Physical fitness at 350%. This talent entry converted from Lock Lee has a total of 2 attributes. Not much, but numerically higher than a 3 attribute talent entry like White-Eyed Princess, with a single bonus of 350%. One is the efficiency of physical training, and the other is physical fitness. The former corresponds to physical skills. The latter corresponds to the foundation of Taijutsu, which is the body. It is indeed a talent entry transformed from a Taijutsu type ninja, and it is indeed related to Taijutsu. Not bad. Ryosuke Yagami is not disappointed. After all, Taijutsu is also a skill he is currently working hard to improve. In terms of ninjutsu, Ryosuke Yagami's basic configuration is not bad. He has the Sharingan, and what ninjutsu he wants to learn can be found here. Just copy it when you have the chance. As for chakra, that is Ryosuke Yagami's strength. Cage level chakra is no joke. But as for Taijutsu, technically he used Sharingan to copy several. The moves have been familiar to the Shadow clone, and there is no problem in using them. But in terms of physical fitness, Yagami Ryosuke's foundation is too poor. He needs to practice more and improve. No, he has been improving himself in the past 2 days. In this aspect, after 2 days, the effect is good. But, it is obviously not enough. And now, it has obtained another 350% physical fitness bonus. Adding the previous 1000%, it is already a 1350% bonus. 13.5 times improvement. Even though Ryosuke Yagami's body has not really grown up yet, his physical fitness has surpassed most of the Taijutsu Chuyunin. From the time Xiao Li entered the ninja school to the Chunin exam, he at the age of 13, the result of 7 years of training is almost the same as Ryosuke Yagami's current level. Of course, Ryosuke Yagami has never learned the 8-gate dungeon. He can really fight Xiao Li during the Chunin examination by relying solely on physical skills. If so, he would definitely not be able to defeat him. But Ryosuke Yagami is not a pure Taijutsu ninja. Taijutsu is just one of his methods. It is not all of them. Ryosuke Yagami is strongest in ninjutsu. Achievements. Massive amounts of chakra. 10 times the power of ninjutsu. And amazing chakra recovery speed. Even if Yagami Ryosuke bombards with ninjutsu, he doesn't have to worry about consumption. This makes him a very terrifying existence. Especially on a battlefield with dense personnel. A large-scale ninjutsu can envelope a large group of people. When the time comes, Ryosuke Yagami will release these ninjutsus one after another. Who can bear it? 4:30 p.m. Ryosuke Yagami ended today's practice early. He would have a picnic with Ino and the others later, and if he counted the time, they would be here soon. So Yagami Ryosuke jumped directly into the river and took a quick bath, followed him ashore, changed his clothes, and went directly to the entrance of the number 4 training ground. As soon as he arrived, he saw Ino, who was already waiting here, standing there alone and looking around. Ino! Ryosuke Yagami shouted and walked over. Ryosuke, when did you come? Ino looked at Ryosuke Yagami coming out of the training ground and asked curiously. I have been practicing here for the past 2 days and I have arrived long ago. Ryosuke Yagami said. Ah! If I had known earlier, I would have come earlier. Ino regretted that she didn't ask where Yagami Ryosuke practiced. She always thought that Yagami Ryosuke practiced at home. I don't have time to talk to you now that you're here, I can only watch from the side. Ryosuke. Yagami said with a smile. It's okay, even if I just stand by and watch you practice, Ryosuke, I'm willing. Ino is indeed Ino. She has always been generous and did not hide her true inner thoughts. Being in Konoha, I can upgrade my talent entries. Author, MRMO. Chapter 40. Where are Shikamaru and the others? Ryosuke Yagami asked. You're still on the way, I came here early. Ino was talking, and suddenly discovered something, and immediately grabbed Yagami Ryosuke's hands with a distressed look on his face. Ryosuke, your hand is injured. She looked at the bloody scabs on the phalanges on the back of Yagami Ryosuke's hands with distress. This is okay, just a minor injury. Ryosuke Yagami shook his head indifferently. Because he has been exercising in the past 2 days, it is inevitable that he will have some skin injuries on his body. Especially the back of his hands. Because of beating tree trunks, the phalangeal joints on the back of his hands are easily injured. Even if Ryosuke Yagami there is a physical bonus from the talent entry, but after all, his basic foundation is poor. No matter how much the tenfold bonus is, it is impossible to turn him into a body of steel all of a sudden, right? So injuries are inevitable. But he will get better soon. This is not. The wounds on his hands were dripping with blood half an hour ago. Now they have scabs. In a few hours, I am afraid that the scars will not be visible. It was the same yesterday. When I went back in the evening, there were still scars on my hands. Ryosuke Yagami deliberately put a bandage on the injured area so that his mother Mizuki Yagami wouldn't notice. Then when he got up the next day, the wound had disappeared. Ryosuke, actually you don't have to work so hard. Ino looked at Ryosuke Yagami's hands in pain. It's okay, it actually doesn't hurt at all. Ryosuke. Yagami said with a smile. Liar, how could it not hurt? Ino's eyes were a little red, as if she was about to cry. Don't move, I'll bandage it for you. Ino said, taking out a new roll of bandages from the ninja bag on her waist, and then carefully bandaged Yagami Ryosuke's wound. Ino, you are so cute. Yagami Ryosuke looked at Ino who was bandaging his wound seriously, and suddenly said. Ah. Really? Ino blushed, then said with a smile, then does Ryosuke like me? Not really. Ryosuke Yagami said. I am angry. Ino snorted softly and turned around as if ignoring Yagami Ryosuke. At this time, a hand gently placed on Ino's little head. Lied to you. Ryosuke Yagami smiled softly. Ino raised her head and looked at him. The afterglow of the setting sun shone on Ryosuke Yagami's back. The scene at that moment was deeply imprinted in Ino's heart. Ryosuke. At this time, several figures walked in the distance. In addition to Shikamaru and Koji, there was also Naruto who was shouting Yagami Ryosuke's name from a distance, jumping up and down, looking like extremely excited. Ryusuke Yagami heard the sound and looked over, smiling and waving to the three of them. What, it's really not the right time. Ino looked at the three people coming over angrily with fierce eyes. Shikamaru instinctively shrank his neck. He felt a chill on the back of his neck. Did I offend her in some way? Shikamaru thought in confusion. Even with his smart brain, he is completely unable to understand a woman's thoughts, even if she is just a little girl. Boom. This should be enough for us. In the forest. In an open space by the river. A bonfire has been raised. Orange flames are burning. Yagami Ryusuke came over carrying a black bear that stood 2 or 3 meters high, and dropped it on the ground with a loud noise. Ryusuke, there are only 5 of us, so we can't eat that much. Shikamaru looked at the size of this black bear and said with a wry smile. But I've tried to choose as small a size as possible. Ryusuke Yagami spread his hands and said. It's okay, I can eat it. Dinkai's eyes were glowing green, staring at the body of the black bear. He felt that he could smell the aroma of the black bear meat. Now that Ryusuke has got the ingredients, you guys are responsible for handling them. Ino pulled Yagami Ryusuke and asked him to sit down and rest for a while, then put his hands on his hips and ordered Shikamaru and the 3 of them. There was no way, when Ino's eldest sister spoke, Shikamaru and the others could only hold on obediently. The black bear's carcass was cleaned up by the river. 3 people dragged the black bear weighing more than 300 kilograms hard, looking like they were struggling. Otherwise, I'll go help. Ryusuke Yagami looked at them like this and said. Ryusuke, just have a good rest. Leave these matters to Shikamaru and the others. They can take care of it. As he said this, Ino looked at Shikamaru and the 3 of them with warning eyes. Yes, Ino is right, we can handle it. Shikamaru nodded quickly. Based on his understanding of Ino since childhood, it is best to follow her wishes at this time, otherwise it will definitely be miserable in the future. Ryusuke, just rest. This is just a black bear, so leave it to me. Naruto clapped his chest and promised, with such a generous look that made Ryusuke Yagami even more worried. Facts have proved that Ryusuke Yagami's worries were correct. After a full hour, Shikamaru and the others were clean up this black bear. Ryusuke, come here and help me. Shikamaru shouted to Ryusuke Yagami, who was sitting by the campfire and reading Ino's palm. They couldn't continue to drag the black bear on the ground after it had been cleaned. But even if it had been skinned and removed, in terms of internal organs, this black bear is too heavy. It was a bit difficult for the 3 of them to carry it. You go and fix the shelf, leave this to me. Ryusuke Yagami walked over and lifted the black bear tied to the iron frame with one hand. Wow! Ryusuke, you are so strong. Naruto looked at him in surprise. Shikamaru also looked at Yagami Ryusuke's figure curiously, as if he was wondering how his not-so-strong body could burst out with such amazing power. Let's go. Ryusuke Yagami held the iron frame with one hand and led the 3 of them back to the bonfire.